So what should we expect for travel in the coming days and weeks? We have Julian Kheel, the founder and CEO of PointsPath, joining us now. Julian, as always, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us.
Hey, Josh, thank you again for having me.
Of course. All right, so first off, I do have to ask you about this because it is making the rounds on social media. People are talking about it all over the place. Comments from Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy saying that when people head to the airports here, they should, quote unquote, dress up. I want to play that quick comment for you right here on LiveNOW.
Help people out, be in a good mood, dress up, bring civility back to travel. And I think everyone's experience is going to be that much better.
Okay, again, some brief remarks there from Sean Duffy as he was speaking with Fox News. Your thoughts there on whether people are going to want to dress up?
Look, I think we all agree we'd love to bring civility back to travel, but that starts with the airlines. And it's not really reasonable to ask people to dress up if they might be facing a 7-hour delay. And nobody wants to be sitting there in a suit or tuxedo just because they look better. People wear comfortable clothes nowadays because they know the travel experience can have some bumps. So while it's a wonderful notion, and again, I think when it comes to civility, we should all try and be nicer and understand that everybody's going through the same travel experience. Demanding or suggesting that people dress up is probably not the way to go. The first step comes from the airlines. They need to make sure that they're treating their customers well, providing the information they need when there are delays and cancellations, and then go from there.
And of course, passengers definitely need to basically behave when they're on the flights because we've seen so many of those incidents. It seems like there may not be as many recently, but maybe a year or so ago, passengers basically all over the place. So the best advice that you have for folks who are going to be flying when it comes to kind of etiquette?
There was actually a pretty big jump in increases during and coming out of the pandemic. There was a lot of obviously built up frustration and stress. That has come down a little bit. A lot of these incidents are, in fact, start with alcohol, with people drinking too much. So when you're traveling, don't take it as an opportunity to, I understand everybody's excited. It's the holidays. You want to start having a good time. Wait until you're, actually at your holiday festivities to have a lot of drinks if you're going to do that. While you're traveling, probably best to, keep it to 1, maybe 2 drinks tops. And that will help everybody in the system act a little kinder to each other.
Definitely some good advice there. And you are taking a live look at some of the airports right now. Not too busy at this hour, but you have Hartsfield-Jackson over in Atlanta. That is the busiest airport in the country. Also Nashville International, Seattle-Tacoma, and St. Louis Airport there on the bottom right. How does traveler confidence maybe look as we head into this holiday season?
So coming out of the government shutdown where we had a lot of disruptions, obviously, it has very much, the system has very much come back quickly. Airlines are operating roughly close to normal now. Travelers are going to travel for Thanksgiving at their usual rates. So traveler confidence is where it was. What we can expect, though, is that the airlines are going to see a lot of traffic here coming up in this next week, a lot of passengers. So it is important to keep that in mind. As we always say, bring your patience, bring a bucket of patience if you're traveling in the next week, because everybody's going to be trying to get home for the holidays.
Maybe even more than a bucket of patience. Are we seeing more people booking flights now than maybe in the past?
It's interesting, for Thanksgiving coming out of the shutdown, prices are up for Thanksgiving year over year. Our data here at PointsPath is showing prices up about 4 to 9% over 2024's Thanksgiving season. If you haven't booked that Thanksgiving ticket yet, it's going to be tough to get a good deal. I would look, if you haven't booked that ticket yet, I would actually look at overseas destinations. Those are places that most people are staying inside the U.S., so go where everyone isn't, go outside the U.S.
What are maybe some of the major concerns that you're hearing about from folks who do plan to travel by air in the coming weeks?
I think people are still a little rattled by what happened during the shutdown. People are concerned about safety. I can assure you, safety is paramount to everybody in the U.S. aviation industry. The safety of your aircraft and of the system remains top notch. It is absolutely the safest way to travel, literally in the history of humanity. So when you get on a plane for Thanksgiving, don't let safety concern you. Don't let that prevent you from traveling. Getting on a plane is much safer than getting in a car and driving somewhere. So keep the statistics in mind, even though it has seemed like it's been a little touch and go. The safety record of the U.S. aviation industry is unparalleled.
All right, let's say you're kind of a procrastinator, you're a last-minute planner here, myself included. When you talk about booking a flight for Thanksgiving, we're just days away. Is it too late? And what about Christmas and other holidays?
So for Thanksgiving, first of all, it's never too late. You can always find a ticket. You may pay a lot. This is also a good time, though, to look at those frequent flyer miles. That's where the airlines have changed their systems in recent years. Usually you can still get a ticket with miles. They no longer have blackout dates and things like that. What they do instead is they charge more miles for flights with higher demand. So if you're willing to part with more miles, now might be a really good time to use them if cash prices are very high. When it comes to Christmas, interestingly enough, coming out of the shutdown disruptions, we are seeing prices a little bit lower for Christmas travel versus 2024. We do expect those will go up now as we start to come out of Thanksgiving and go towards Christmas. So if you have not booked a Christmas or New Year's ticket yet, now is the time. Now is when you're going to get a decent deal. Get in there, grab a ticket. And as I always say, once you've booked, that doesn't mean to stop looking. Make sure you're booking a ticket that's not basic economy. Any other ticket on a U.S. airline essentially can be changed or canceled without a penalty. So book that ticket, keep tracking. If the price goes down, cancel and rebook at the lower price.
And I will say, I recently booked a flight over to Vegas, and I was checking kind of every day just to see. And at one point, it actually went down about $500. So I saved $500 by just making sure to check the price. So good advice there. Make sure that you do that. And going back to something that you were talking about a bit earlier here, the government shutdown, obviously it's over. It's been over for a little more than a week at this point. The shutdown, are there still concerns that that could play a role in what we see even around Christmas time?
There aren't any concerns that the shutdown will play a role, but we do have to remember that the U.S. doesn't have enough air traffic controllers. A lot of these folks are working overtime. Again, I want to emphasize, it's not about the safety of the system, because what will happen is if there aren't enough controllers, FAA will reduce the number of allowed flights to make sure they can be handled safely. Now, I don't expect that to happen during the holiday season, but it is always a possibility. The system does need upgrades from a technology and staffing standpoint. Hopefully in 2026, that'll be a priority.
Anything else you want to add here? Anything that passengers need to know, travelers there, if they are going to be traveling over the next couple weeks?
You know, when I'm traveling myself, whether it's during the holidays or otherwise, I always say be proactive. Don't wait for an airline to tell you that there's a problem with your flight. Try and find out before that. Look at where your plane is coming from before you even leave the house. If it's already delayed or canceled from its incoming destination, there's a good chance your flight will be affected. That's the time to get in touch with your airline and start exploring other options.
All right. Julian Kheel, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. And before I let you go, I did want to ask you, because we have you on quite a bit, and we've never really talked about Points Path and what it really is. I do want to give you the opportunity, as folks are traveling, to kind of break down what it is and how you can get it.
Absolutely. PointsPath is a browser extension that helps you know when to use your frequent flyer miles and when to use cash. It runs on top of Google Flights, a very popular search platform. You put it into your Chrome Safari browser, and when you search in Google Flights, we add all the points prices next to the cash price, tell you for each flight which is the better deal, cash or miles. It helps people solve that problem of when do I use my miles, when am I getting a good deal with them, and when should I save them for later. All
right, Julian Kheel, thank you again for being here with us. We definitely appreciate it.
Thanks, Josh. Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Happy Thanksgiving.